morning, gorgeous.
Good morning. How are you, brother? It's good to
I
see you.
am I am wonderful, Devin. So good to hear your voice and to see your face again. Thanks for having me on, by the way.
Well, you're so welcome. There's a new season coming out of Moonshiners, which is you fit right in. I had no idea. Do you have moonshining in your past?
I'm going to kind of take that as a compliment.
It is a compliment.
Yeah,
Hey, my people, come on.
I hear that. Hey, the new season starts October the 27th. That is a Wednesday. It's coming up in another week or so, actually. So, Discovery Channel, Wednesday nights, I believe it's going to be 8 o'clock Central Time. We have been on Tuesday nights, I think, for the past 10 seasons. This is season 11 now, season number 6 for me. And
Wow.
for people who have not seen the show, it is absolutely a hoot to be a part of. I'm a small player on the show. I don't get a whole bunch of episodes, but I get to play the character Killer Beaz, the comedian.
See?
Yeah, so I'm actually stretching out my acting chops.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Hey, is this available on the new streaming platform, Discovery Plus?
Yes, it is. As a matter of fact, on Discovery Plus, you can get all the episodes starting with season 1. And also, another good thing about Discovery Plus is as soon as a certain night's episode ends, you can log on to Discovery Plus and see the next week.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so
That's
you'll be
awesome.
ahead of your moonshining friends on knowing what's going on the show. But it's a ton of fun. It is. It intrigues me. There's so much chemistry and physics involved that it absolutely is amazing to me. I'm a science geek, even though I don't
It's
sound
crazy
like it.
science, right?
Of course, duh. But there is so much science and physics and chemistry involved that it is absolutely intriguing. And the guys I work with, Mark and Digger, in my opinion, are the best ones on the show. They were the steel hands for decades for the legendary moonshiner named Popcorn Sutton. So
Speaking of, I've got 2 numbered Popcorn Sutton jars in my cabinet right now.
oh, okay. Well, there you go. So just the lineage there and the fact that they have taken me under their wing and actually taught me the ins and outs of the covert distillation of non-taxable artisan spirits in a non-disclosed location.
Crazy. Yes.
So it is absolutely fun to do. We're in the process of still filming for this new season. We've been at it since the spring, if you will, and there's lots of really cool surprises and really cool techniques in there. The clip you showed, now the clip you showed just then was when we made let me see, it was a cinnamon oatmeal raisin moonshine for a wealthy client in Nashville. And the delivery was made, of all things, at an airport in the Smoky Mountains. Devin, I got to drive my vehicle onto the tarmac as the airplane pulled up to me and delivered the product, and then they took off again.
Wow.
So, and here's what's funny about it. The Discovery Channel is all around the world. Discovery UK, the Moonshiners TV people posted on Facebook a post from Discovery UK that showed that scene where I drove onto the airport property, and in the comments, the folks in England were comparing me to Al Capone. So, I guess infamy's better than nothing at times. So
Absolutely.
Anyway, yeah,
Well,
so it is tons of fun. So I'm really thankful and blessed to still be able to do that.
Mama Pat, my mama down in Louisiana, she lives for Discovery, lives for it. I mean, she will walk away from supper if it's too late because Naked and Afraid is coming on. And she loves her stuff. And then she called me. She says, well, I have got to get into this streaming stuff. And I said, why, Mama? She says, well, they're moving everything to that app, Discovery Plus, and I don't know how to put it on my TV. She said, can you help? Nobody down here knows how to do it, because she says, I've got to see Moonshiners, Gold Rush, and those people from Alaska and Naked and Afraid. And she's loving it. And so I got to get her into the streaming nation so she can understand.
Yeah, it's on that app. I like that terminology. I've sent a message to one of the executive producers of Moonshiners in New York the other day, telling them that I think we should combine Moonshiners with Naked and Afraid. Because sometimes that's how people end up anyway. So we could just get a big fat hillbilly naked with a jar going, why is everybody saying I'm naked? So they haven't taken me up on it yet.
I know. Save some production time and cost right there. Just put it all there together.
Yeah, look at the money you save on wardrobe.
Truth. All those overalls, you don't even have to buy them. Don't even have to buy them.
Ooh, I have a pair of overalls. I have a pair of overalls. I don't know if they will show me wearing it on the show, because I've been wearing the same jeans and camouflage shirt for all these seasons, and they kind of want me to stick with that. But last year, they actually sprung for a pair of overalls for me, and I wore them on a couple of days of shooting, but that footage didn't make it on the air. So I own overalls for the first time in my life. Okay,
and if it's summer, now here's how you know if you're a real redneck. Did you wear it with or without a shirt?
I wore it with a shirt, because I didn't know any better. And we were deep in the woods, and my skin is not hillbilly woods tough. The guys I work with, mosquitoes bend their beaks. Remember the old Woody Woodpecker, where he would peck the petrified wood and it'd bend his beak? That's what happens to mosquitoes when they try to bite my buddies. Not so much for me. I'm kind of a city slicker compared to them.
They
Killer Beaz Comedy, Beaz, on Facebook. So that's where that is.
I love you more than lunch and jewelry. So
that's a lot.
I'm telling you.
I've seen her jewelry, y'all.
And let's talk lunch at Cracker Barrel. I mean, it's hard for me to do a trade out, but I would go for you. Yeah, I mean, just hanging out with you is a blessing. So thank you so much.
Devin, I love you. Thank you so much for letting me join you today.
All right. You have a good rest of your day.
I will, my dear. Woohoo! Yeah.
Hey, everyone. I'm Judy Kuhn, and I am so excited to be making my Nashville Cabaret debut on October 15th. That's a Saturday at 8 p.m. at TPAC. I will have John McDaniels on the keyboards, and I will be singing songs from shows I've been in, like Fun Home, She Loves Me. I'll be singing some Sondheim. I'll be singing songs from recordings I've made, maybe some Rodgers and Hammerstein, all kinds of things. Oh, and maybe a song from a certain Disney movie I am associated with. I promise you it will be an intimate evening of songs, of tales, and just lots of fun. So I really hope you can join me. You can purchase tickets at tpac.org. See you on October 15th.
How are you, Ken?
Devin, you are too kind. Thank you. Thank you very much. You know what? Anybody can write. Anybody can put the nouns and the verbs in the right order if you have a great story, right? And I've had some fantastic people to work with.
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, speaking of, I'm just going to go through some of these people that, I mean, I was going through this list of books. Well, yesterday, the reason that this interview came up is you and I met, and I've been trying for literally years I said, for our schedules to work out, for me to have a show when we can be. Now we've got one. And it started out with this book because Randy just did a signing on Saturday. He and Mary were there, part of it. But there's other books like Lisa Beamer with Let's Roll and Stephen Curtis Chapman.
Yeah.
And of course, we're going to go and we're going to uncover this one because when you met Joel Osteen and wrote this book, he was not Joel Osteen we know now.
No, that's right. Very few people knew his name at that point.
It's crazy. And then look, this book, this is one of my favorite books ever.
Me too. Believe it or not. Yeah.
And then Chuck Norris and Jim Baker. And then, and we're just going to talk a little astronaut, Buzz Aldrin. And then we've got Bill Gaither. And also one that is one of my favorites, Walk to Beautiful.
Me too. That is one of my favorite books. And I think, quite honestly, one that has been received better than almost any other book I've ever done. 3 times on the New York Times bestseller list, not because I wrote such a great story. It's just Jimmy's story is so powerful. It went off the New York Times bestseller list for a while, then came back on. Then like a year later, it came back on. I mean, that just doesn't happen. But Jimmy is...
When you met him, I don't know if you got the same feeling that I did. I felt like he wasn't someone who was born onto this planet. He was sent to this planet.
Yeah.
Do you get that? Those people who were sent with a message?
You know what is so interesting? I didn't really know Jimmy at the time when we first started working on his book. I'd heard about him walking across America to raise awareness for foster kids. But, we have a lot of things going on in Nashville. We've got great charity events and that sort of thing. So, okay, just another one. But he came over to the house. An editor called and said, "Would you get together and just talk with this guy? See what you think about his story. See if you think you could work together." He came over to our home, and Lisa cooked up a meal. And afterwards, we sat around the table, and Jimmy had his guitar, and he's playing, and he's singing some of those great, great songs that he's written that all have to do with his story. And I was working on another project at the time, but whenever Jimmy left, Lisa and I looked at each other. My wife and I looked at each other. We said, "I have to write this story. I have to write this story." Yeah, it is amazing.
It's one of the most compelling stories I've ever heard in my life. And his musical gift is also one that comes from someplace else. It's truly a God gift. And a lot of people don't realize what he's done for foster children. He started in his home state of North Carolina, but the year 18 years old, we think about 18-year-old, but when you're in the foster system before, the old way was you're 18 years old, you get no money, you're out. You're out of the system and you no longer have a home. In many cases, they were just out.
That's right. That's right. And for those that don't know Jimmy's story, he had a pretty rough upbringing. Matter of fact, the first 100 pages of the book are just pretty dark, to be honest about it, because there was just some ugly stuff in his family. His mom was, having trouble all the time, drugs, alcohol. They literally would have prostitutes in their home, and the prostitutes would be using the bed that Jimmy was supposed to be sleeping on, and he and his sister would sleep on the floor. I mean, it was just horrible, horrible. And then at 13 years of age, his mom left him. He was from the Charlotte area, Gastonia. His mom left him at 13 years of age in Pensacola, Florida, and drove away with her lover, the guy she was eventually going to marry. Jimmy had to make his way back to Charlotte and bounced around for the next couple of years, living outside, living wherever anybody would give him some food, until finally an elderly couple invited him to come into their home. And they helped him get back on track. They got him back in school. He went on to college, got a degree, came to Nashville, started writing some songs, had some hit songs, #1 hit record, Do You Believe Me Now? And he's just gone on since. But then, at that point, the great part of the story to me was one night after they'd worked in Madison Square Garden, he's sitting in the bus and he's looking out there, sees some homeless people there in New York, comes back to Nashville. It was cold at that point. And he said, "You know what? I've always said that if I make it in the music industry, I want to go back out there and do something to help some of those kids who are like me." He said, and I've not done squat. I mean, we've done some charity concerts and all that. He said, but I need to do something. I need to do something big. And if you know Jimmy, you know what that means. I need to do something big. He says, I like walking halfway across America to raise awareness for foster kids. So that's what he did. And he thought it was just going to take him 3 months. It ended up taking him 7 months to do it, all the way to Phoenix, Arizona, and broke his foot along the way, coming down a mountain, could hardly walk. He ends up walking the last, I think it was 60 miles in a boot to get there. But man, what a celebration it was whenever he finally made it. And he's been telling people about the need ever since. And Lisa and I, my wife, whenever we get a chance to go out, we just drove to Georgia the other night, literally, to go hear Jimmy Wayne. I've heard him tell that story 1,000 times. I wanted to hear it again. It is that good.
It is that good, and he's an incredible speaker. Let's talk, and in continuation of that, because of Jimmy Wayne and his story, the new age is now 26, that a child can remain in the system, and they go into a supervised living kind of a thing. It's like, we're going to teach you how to have an apartment. We're going to teach you how to pay bills, how to grocery shop, how to get a job and make a budget.
That's
so
right.
Moving it from 18 to 26, which is amazing.
Great success. You are absolutely right. And that's happening all around the country now, too. On a personal level, Jimmy's story touches us no matter what. And, part of it, one of the things we said at the end of the book, not everybody can do what I've done, but everybody can do something. And I'm writing these words, and Lisa, my wife, and I are thinking about this. You know what? We're grandparents. Okay, look at this gray hair. We're grandparents. We've got grandkids, 10, 8, and 5 years of age. But we said, maybe we can do something and help a foster child. And so we literally became foster parents, respite foster parents, as a result of Jimmy Wayne's influence in our lives. Yeah.
Isn't that amazing? Yeah. Oh, Ken, we're going to ask you to come back another time because there's so many stories and there's just not enough time to get enough with you. Ken, thank you.
Thank you, Devin. It's just a privilege to be with you. Thank you.
Likewise. Well, you have a beautiful walk to beautiful day.
I will. Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Nervous habits like biting your nails, chewing the inside of your cheeks, or grinding your teeth may seem harmless, but they can do damage to your oral health. Let's learn more about these nervous habits and why you should stop today. Nail biting can stress your teeth, so to help you quit, keep your nails trimmed and smooth, or apply a bitter-tasting polish. Biting the inside of your cheek can trigger painful canker sores, which are small ulcers inside the mouth. Ointments can relieve discomfort, but it's better to kick the habit entirely. Try chewing a piece of sugar-free gum instead of your cheeks. If you clench or grind your teeth, it can lead to jaw problems and facial pain, so your dentist may prescribe a mouthguard to help, especially at night. During the day, if you notice your jaw clenching, try squeezing a stress ball or another stress-busting activity. So get started today. Kick those nervous habits and keep your smile healthy. For more information on how nervous habits impact your oral health visit our website.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, what a year we've had. That money hack where these guys are saying you can make $300, $400, $500 a day, even some saying you can make unlimited money a day, all by downloading the updated version of Cash App. Is this real? Let's check it out. So let me show you what I'm talking about here. These guys are saying all you have to do is download the latest version of Cash App, and when you click on the button, you're gonna get $300, $400, $500 a day. This guy's account just keeps on going. Check that out. Look at that. Who doesn't want that? $100 for doing nothing at all. So this guy's being pretty conservative. He's saying you can only make $300 a day, right? So he's trying to stay in the wheelhouse of truth, because if it's only 300, you might be thinking to yourself, wow, that kind of sounds true, because how could it be unlimited money? But 300, yeah, that sounds true. That sounds real. Every time he clicks on add cash, it gives him $100. This is a fun one here. Unlimited free cash. Look at that. That money just goes on forever. This sounds pretty simple, right? And if you need money, you really want this to be real. You really want this to work. But the fact is, it's not real. Let me show you exactly how it does work. So check this out. This guy right here, he's saying you can make $500 here. So he's tapping on the screen, but what's happening is this is not a real app. He's trying to tap on it and tap on it. Nothing's happening because it's just a screen. It's just like a picture, right? It's not an actual app. He's tapping, he's tapping, he's tapping. Nothing's happening there. So there's a few different ways the scam works. The first is what they're doing is creating their own app. That sounds pretty difficult, right? But you can go on a website like Fiverr and put create app, and they can get an app made for as little as $10. See, they don't actually need the app to work. They just need it to look real. They need it to look like Cash App. From there, they have a website created. Same thing, $10 gets you in the door. Next, they get affiliated with the CPA network. What a CPA network is a lead generation network. So with their website, they're gonna tell you, go to this website to download the app. But before you can download the app, you're gonna have to enter your email address. That email address is how they're actually gonna make their money. They're selling your information. So once you download the app and do these clicks, it might look like it works. It might look like you have money in your account, but it doesn't do nothing. It's a dummy account. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna go anywhere. It's not real money. So the second way the scam works is they don't have to build an app or a website. They just get affiliated with a certain CPA network, and that CPA network will have all the steps lined up already. All they're gonna be doing is providing the links. So this is actually where a huge amount of money is made, because what's happening is not only are they selling your email address, they're also making money off of monetization with the video. This video right here has 46,000 views. Look at this one, 9 months ago, 184,000 views. 2 months ago, 259,000 views. Also, when you install that sketchy app, you're installing adware into your phone or PC. Adware can steal your browsing history, personal information and passwords, and credit card info. And that information gets sold over and over through various channels. So talk about passive income. There's no way money's being generated out of thin air. I know we want to believe that's easy money, right? But no, don't try this at home. But check this out. If you want a real way to make $100, click the link in my description to sign up for Chime. When you sign up with Chime and deposit your first $200 into your new account, you'll receive $100 for doing nothing else but setting up a new account. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to check out all my other money-making videos.
Farm Aid is not just a music concert. It's really a farmers convention. The farmers are the people who protect the soil, which is the foundation of life, and they're struggling. So this is one day out of the year that we can bring a lot of attention towards the issues facing farmers. We can hear from them.
My very first Farm Aid was about 6 years ago, and it meant more to me than like winning any kind of award. It just felt kind of like I was bringing something home for my family.
It's been euphoric, joyful, ecstatic. I am beyond honored to be welcomed into this circle and family.
I think it's the sense of community that you feel when you're at Farm Aid. It really feels like a family reunion. You get on site and you're greeted by people you haven't seen in a year or more, and it's just really a warm, familial feeling. A lot of fun and a lot of heart go into the day.
When you have the opportunity to be listening to these great artists donating their performances, plus have a wonderful meal, and plus walk around and meet some farmers, it's a magical day and people remember.
The roster of artists that we've had that do come completely on their own time and bring their bands themselves, it's extraordinary. There's no other show like this.
There's kind of a vibe to this show where everybody's the same, you know, whether you're the first on the bill or the last. It creates a vibe for the crew where they go, wait a minute, this isn't a normal show. And I say, you think you're doing a live show. You're doing a media event.
It could not happen without hundreds and hundreds of people behind the scenes coming from all over the country, all over the world, to not just support the event, but to work the event. Volunteers to do everything from setting up and tearing down to greeting fans and asking for donations.
Every year I feel like I learn something different. I get the privilege of sitting in on a panel and just hearing what other people are doing.
Margot Price is now on our board, and she's very vocal and feels very strongly. She comes from a farm.
It means so much to be on the board. I know that if my grandfather were still here with us, that he would just be ecstatic. You know, they lost their farm in the mid-'80s during the farming crisis, and it's just always been something that has deeply affected me.
We have that homegrown village out there, which to me is the best part of Farm Aid, because people can interact with all of the stuff we're talking about. You meet farmers and get firsthand experience with farmers to people who might not otherwise get that experience.
And you get to taste all good food from family farmers in this local area. You get to dig in with people in the homegrown village, learn about how they farm and what they do, and take home a skill or two for yourself.
A lot of people come to us for the music, but it's really important that they know what the issues are and why we're all here and why we're supporting family farmers.
Farm Aid has really made the attendees, the customers, the consumers think about where this food is coming from and who's growing this food and what's going on with them in their lives.
I didn't know where food came from till I set foot on a farm for the first time when I was 9. And it was not just life-changing, it was life-preserving. It was transformative, and it gave me a sense of what's possible.
My favorite thing is when you can introduce the festival goer eating the family farm food item to the farmer who grew or raised it.
We get lucky that we get to perform in front of a bunch of people that are always giving back to us in terms of growing food and raising livestock and, feeding everybody. So it's nice to be able to give them something in return for that.
I think it made a huge difference in the very beginning for farmers to realize that someone was listening and for them to realize that people cared.
So the music brings everyone here where the farmers are so they can be heard.
Our dollar is very powerful, and all of us as individuals can make great change and huge impact, like just where we spend our money and who we support.
It has really opened up people's understanding and exposure to how our food is grown.
I hope that people just come away with that, come away with a sense of what's possible when we creatively problem solve together.
I think people leave Farm Aid learning something, taking it home to their community, trying to do better, to eat better, to support their local farmer. And without the show, I don't know if we would be able to reach all the people that we do.